We are going to do something very funny today. Worldwide media critiques on games and their reviews against my own. What we're gonna do is that we're going to compare all of my thoughts with their thoughts. Let's see how professional they are and how big of a geniuses they actually are. Who works over there, who are you listening to, and who's receiving money for the job that they're doing. Is it well earned money or not? I'll try to be honest as much as I can. The first game that we're gonna check would be Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. You know what I think about Wrath of the Righteous. I believe it's one of the best games ever created. It's very close to being a 10 out of 10. It's the longest, biggest, and hardest CRPG in the history of CRPGs. Now let's see how those pros rate the game in the media. Let's see if they deserve their hard-earned money. The first one in line would be from IGN. The game received 8 out of 10 only. The person that did this review would be this guy over here. What he says: having a legitimately fun turn-based mod makes me care about the occasionally complex systems of the Pathfinder rule set. Turn-based makes you care about rule sets. Turn-based. This is a brilliant game, an absolutely amazing game to play in a real time, but let's say you like it in turn-based, what does it have to do with complex systems? They're even more complex if you didn't know in real time than in turn-based. So much from you and your knowledge. I'll just skip his blabbering because he just blabbers without saying anything important for the game, and I'll stick to the verdict. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous has to live up to the expectations of being a Pathfinder adaptation, a sequel to the fascinating if messy Kingmaker, and the next big ambitious isometric RPG. Again, all I hear is blabbering and not a single useful info, like in your entire review. Perhaps shockingly, it succeeds at meeting those expectations, thanks largely to taking the step of implementing a turn-based mod from the beginning. Again, you talk about turn-based mod. It may take as long as organizing a tabletop campaign to actually finish, but the journey is still worthwhile. You play tabletop campaign for 400 hours? Did you play on easy and finish within 60 hours? What's out of those two? Again, the game only received 8 out of 10 on the biggest media critique site. Valid. Good choice to watch for the games. The next one would be this one, the RPG Files Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous review, did by Mitch, and the opening is: sometimes less is more. No, more is more. You can ask women about it. They'll always tell you that if you're good, more is more. It's usually a good thing. Less is more ain't a good thing if something is bad. This is a brilliant game, so more is more should be said here, not less is more. We didn't play the same game then. Clear? Okay, I'm gonna skip his blabbering and I'm gonna go straight to the combat and see what the guy has to say about the combat here. Combat in Wrath of the Righteous can be unforgiving, but Owlcat games provide you the tools you need to keep it enjoyable. No matter what level of difficulty you are looking for, you're able to switch difficulty settings on the fly. And you earn money out of reviews, by switching difficulties on the fly. An option I used liberally. Really? You are a real pro. Like, imagine now, any competitive spirit, okay, a basketball game, finals, Lakers versus Boston. Lakers are dominating, 20 above, okay, and the coach says the first team all benched, puts in on reserves, Boston wins. That's what you're doing, and you receive money for it. It wasn't that combat was too difficult when set to normal. Mate, there's 7 difficulties. Normal is easy. Easy. There are 4 more difficulties above normal. You really receive money for this. It wasn't that combat was too difficult when set to normal and had to be tuned. It's just that there is too much combat during some quests. Too much combat in a CRPG. Oh, damn it. Owlcat needs to change this into a South Park, the Stick of Truth, I guess. Hey? You're not right. There's not enough combat. How brilliant it is, there is not enough. Clearing area after area of low-level minions starts to get boring. That's because you play without a challenge. Okay, well, probably on how to level up. That's why you find it boring, man. I would find it too if I was playing like that. How can you find the game boring? It's the difficulty you play on, it's not the game. And you are supposed to test on harder difficulties. That's your job. How will you review a game if you don't test on every difficulty? And I found myself lowering the difficulty in these already low-risk encounters just to get through them faster. This is a guy that reviews a CRPG. He lowers the difficulty to skip fights faster so he can progress in the story. And you even realize the mistake you're making. Because the difficulty also lies in preparation, in scrolls, in consumables, in how you manage your rest. Okay? And then those trivial fights that you're talking about become an agony if you don't know what you're doing and how to optimize your sleep time and your resources. The entire charm that the game offers, you skipped. And you call yourself a journalist. Then once I found foes that were worthy of my attention, you don't say. They are worthy of your attention when you're full with HP, with all spells, with all consumables, and then you put it back on normal and they're worthy, eh? I would crank the difficulty back up and duke it out in the fair fight. Fair fight. That's a fair fight and you're a journalist. If that's fair, then you're a journalist. Similarly, the option to switch between turn-based and real-time combat also helped me manage the flow of battle. Mate, you don't know what flow is, okay? Because you believe less is more. Turn-based combat works just like it would in a pen and paper RPG, which you probably don't even know what it is, but you've seen somewhere and you need to write a review to receive money. So let's crank up words now. I've seen what you know just from this. God forbid I read the rest. This is enough for me. I don't even want to do it. He rated the game with 7.5 out of 10. Quit your job and work on that less is more. More bullshit out of him, cause I just don't believe what I read right now. Character progression and combat don't offer anything we haven't seen from an RPG before. Really? Where have you seen it before? Where have you seen 20 levels with 30 classes, subclasses, with the addition of multi-classing with 1,000 freaking options along with 10 mythic pots? Where have you seen that before? You say that combat doesn't offer anything we haven't seen from an RPG before. CRPG, you moron, it's CRPG. And now comes the casuality of our journalist. The sheer amount of information thrown at you during character creation can be a bit daunting. Man, stick with Horizon Zero Dawn. Trust me. Don't do reviews for games like this. You're a joke. You literally are. Your review, less is more, okay? It should be the name of your review. Sometimes less is more. You should have talked less. That's where it applies. Not for the game, for your review. The next in line would be Athanasios. He gave Wrath of the Righteous 7 out of 10. And let's just read his final verdict. Because the previous guy really got me tired. And to be honest, he got me angry too. Because I can't believe how people receive money and for doing what. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is not a big improvement over Kingmaker. But it's an improvement nonetheless. How come it's not a big improvement over a Kingmaker? Are you sure? Have you seen how many classes and subclasses there are? Have you seen mythic paths? Have you seen the difficulty options? Do you know that the game can last 400 hours? Have you seen the maps? Have you seen the amount of content? Have you seen all 50 different endings? Have you seen all companions? Have you tested the mercs? And by chance, have you noticed that you can turn the camera compared to the Kingmaker where it's fixed isometric camera? How can you say something like this? Some of its elements are exceptional, like the overwhelming variety in classes, skills, and bots. Or the general epic aura it has, while some other parts sit somewhere between decent and good, like the story, which is a bit too stereotypical. Again, it depends what you play. The crusade portion of the gameplay, which is a buggy chore, and the actual role-playing, which, while fine and all, won't be enough for those spoiled by other modern classics of the genre. And what would those be? I don't know, a single D&D modern classic of the genre. The last one was Baldur's Gate 2. Perhaps Pillars 1. And what are the others? Do you consider Divinity Original Sin in the same class as Wrath of the Righteous or Wasteland 3? They are good games, great games, but they're not in the league with Wrath of the Righteous. And so are not you in the league to being a journalist. At the end, he says how incompetent he is. Despite some of its flaws, it is undoubtedly very entertaining and highly recommend this, as it will surely satisfy your hunger for a good RPG. It's a CRPG and you receive money for the job. So basically, media is butchering games that are not paid for to give good scores. They are throwing it to, I can't even call them journalists, okay? They probably give them $10 to write a review from home to some weirdos that don't even know what gaming is. And that's how Wrath of the Righteous receives its Metacritic score. That's how valid is the Metacritic score. Now I want to check one positive review and see the best score for the Wrath of the Righteous in media. That would be here on the GameSpace. Let's see if there is one normal journalist among them all. They do the review without spoilers, which is great. They have a good introduction, which is also great. They announce the game, how they shoot demons, dragons, angels, cultists, and paladins. All of it awaits you in Wrath of the Righteous. That's how you write, okay? Not some useless blah 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 info, okay? And then you say how you're a casual player playing just to finish the game on a story mod. Then they speak about mythic bots, what they do. Then they speak about the map, about the crusade mod. Trying to create your character in Wrath of the Righteous. That's a good review, okay? Let's check their final verdict. 9.5 out of 10. Amazing, deep epic story, amazing replayability value, interesting characters, great aesthetics, atmospheric soundtrack. One noticed the soundtrack, imagine. Those epic songs in Wrath of the Righteous, none of those pro-media journalists recognized the songs. Probably they're deaf. Also, not only that they're blind, they're also deaf. These recognized, thank God. The bed, it's overwhelming for newcomers and casuals, yes. Tutorial is not very helpful, yes. Timed elements, if you know what you're doing, again, that's how the game works. Turn-based battles are pretty basic, yes, because you haven't switched to real time and tested the actual challenge, but still you give it 9.5 out of 10. The score that I gave on day 1, now I believe the game is close to 10 out of 10. So, what we discovered here. Journalists and the things that are actually in your face every day, they don't know a thing about what they're working on, what they're writing on. Someone will say, alright, how reviews are objective, okay, how it depends from person that's doing the review and so on, but I gave you pure examples. They don't even know what they're doing, okay, not to mention to write a review or to play a game. They don't know where they are they even on a planet Earth, and they are receiving money, and then this game gets 83 on Metascore. How is that freaking fair? Anyways, I hope you had fun. We're gonna do more of this, then I'm gonna make one compilation out of all of those videos, because I kinda also find it funny and I wanna do something new and something entertaining. I hope this was entertaining for you as it was for me, because I had a good amount of laugh and rage at the same time. I'll be seeing you on the next one.